Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Hidden Korea. We're so glad to have you here with us today, because what we're about to reveal will shock the entire nation. In today's episode, we dive deep into one of the most unbelievable on-air moments in recent memory. Nation stunned as Kang confronts Kim Yoo-jung live, a shocking exchange no one expected. What really happened during that live broadcast? Kang suddenly break his silence, and what was Kim Yoo-jung's reaction that left everyone speechless? Behind-the-scenes tension to the unforgettable moment that stopped the internet. We're uncovering every detail, every emotion, and every truth hidden behind that broadcast. Stay with us till the end, because what you're about to see will change how you see both of them forever. Let's get started, right now on Hidden Korea. It was supposed to be a calm, heartwarming evening, a night to celebrate their shared success, not ignite a firestorm. The set of the live variety broadcast star dialogue night glowed under soft studio lights. Cameras swirling, audience cheering, and two of Korea's most beloved stars sitting side by side, Kang and Kim Yoo-jung. The chemistry between them had always been undeniable. But that night, everything changed. Clock struck 9 p.m. when the broadcast went live. Kang appeared relaxed at first, usual charm radiating through his smile. Kim Yoo-jung laughed easily beside him, her warmth disarming the crowd. Viewers across the nation tuned in, expecting another delightful exchange between the two stars who had once co-starred in one of the most talked-about dramas of the year. But beneath the lights and laughter, something unseen brewed. Halfway through the show, host brought up the incident, a rumor that had circulated online just days before, claiming that Kang and Kim Yoo-jung had a falling out during a recent production. Both stars had remained silent, fueling the fire even more. Now, cornered under live cameras, there was no escaping the truth. So, Kang, the host said with a teasing grin, "The fans have been curious. Is it true there was tension between you and Yoo-jung during filming?" The air tightened. Kim Yoo-jung froze for a fraction of a second, her smile faltering just enough for the cameras to catch. The audience laughed lightly, unaware of the storm about to hit. Kang leaned back in his chair, his eyes darkening. Then, slowly, he spoke. "Tension? That's an interesting word." He turned to Kim Yoo-jung. "Wouldn't you say it was more than that?" The audience went silent. Even the host blinked in surprise. Kim Yoo-jung tilted her head slightly, clearly caught off guard. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice careful, almost trembling. Kang's lips curved into a strained smile. "You should tell them, Yoo-jung, about what really happened that day on set." A collective murmur rippled through the audience. The cameras zoomed in. The atmosphere turned electric. Yoo-jung looked down, visibly shaken. "Kang," she said quietly, "I think you're misunderstanding." But he cut her off. "No, I'm not misunderstanding anything." The silence that followed was deafening. The host tried to intervene, but Kang was relentless. "You said you trusted me. Remember? You said no one else would come between us during the shoot. But what happened next, what you did?" He stopped, his voice cracking slightly before he regained composure. "It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation." Kim Yoo-jung's hands trembled in her lap. The first time in her career, she was speechless on live television. The audience didn't know whether to gasp, fear, or pity her. Finally, she took a deep breath and looked him in the eyes. "Kang," she whispered, "you're hurting yourself by holding on to something that wasn't real." "I never meant to." He slammed his hand on the table. The sound echoed like thunder through the studio. "Isn't real," he snapped. "Do you think I imagined it all? The nights we rehearsed together, the promises, the way you looked at me before every take." The host's voice quivered as he tried to regain control. "Everyone, please calm down, let's not make assumptions here." But it was too late. The raw emotion in Kang's voice had broken through the polished illusion of celebrity calm. Viewers watching from home flooded social media with disbelief. Hashtags like Kang Live, Kim Yoo-jung Shock, and Broadcast Meltdown exploded across trending charts within minutes. Back in the studio, Kim Yoo-jung's eyes glistened with tears, but her expression hardened. She sat upright, her voice trembling but steady. "You think the world revolves around your feelings," she said quietly. "You ever consider what you did to me?" Kang froze. The audience gasped collectively. "What are you saying?" he asked. his voice barely audible. You think you were the only one hurt? The only one betrayed? Kim Yoo-jung's tone grew sharper, her tears falling freely now. That day, when you walked out of the set and left me to deal with everything, do you know what that did to me? He blinked, lost for words. Signaled the producer. But the control room hesitated. The tension was too gripping. The ratings skyrocketing by the second. Every word, every breath became an anchor for millions watching live. Kim Yoo-jung continued, her voice breaking. You disappeared, Song Kang. You vanished for 3 days. Everyone blamed me. Do you know how many headlines called me unprofessional? You think you were the victim. But you left me to burn alone. Song Kang's jaw tightened. That's not true. It is, she cried out. You let everyone think it was my fault just because your pride was hurt. Studio erupted. Some audience members gasped aloud. The host's hand shook as he held his cue cards. Cameras zoomed tighter, capturing the chaos. For the first time, Song Kang's confident posture collapsed. His voice softened, raw and exposed. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Kim Yoo-jung replied, her tone like a blade. The silence that followed was unbearable. A single light flickered above them, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. Two stars, once adored as the nation's perfect duo, now sat on opposite ends of the stage, their shared history unraveling under the world's gaze. Then, suddenly, the host's earpiece crackled. The director screamed from the control room. Cut to commercial. Cut now. But the feed didn't switch fast enough. The last thing the nation saw before the screen went black was Kim Yoo-jung standing up, her voice trembling but fierce. I hope one day you learn that love isn't ownership, Song Kang. It's forgiveness. And with that, she walked off set. Sad and stunned silence. Social media crashed. News outlets scrambled. Within minutes, the entire country was on fire with one question. What really happened between Song Kang and Kim Yoo-jung? The studio lights had gone out, but the echoes of that night still reverberated across an entire nation. The moment the broadcast cut to black, the internet erupted into chaos. Within seconds, hashtags related to Song Kang and Kim Yoo-jung flooded every social platform. Clips of the confrontation spread like wildfire, slowed down, replayed, analyzed frame by frame. News anchors scrambled to make sense of it all. Calling it the most explosive live broadcast in Korean entertainment history. Some labeled Song Kang a man betrayed by fame. Others accused him of emotional manipulation. Kim Yoo-jung, once cherished as the nation's sweetheart, now found her image divided, half the country defending her, the other half accusing her of deceit. By midnight, both agencies had released short, vague statements. The broadcast incident was unplanned. Both artists were emotionally overwhelmed. We ask for understanding. But no amount of PR could put out the fire. Behind the cameras, the real story was still unfolding. Backstage, chaos reigned. Assistants ran back and forth. Producers shouted into their earpieces. And staff members whispered nervously. Eye contact with either of the two stars. Song Kang sat slumped in a chair. His hair disheveled, his eyes blank. The same hands that once commanded millions of fans now trembled uncontrollably. He muttered under his breath, as if trying to convince himself of something. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to hurt her. Minutes later, the sound of heels echoed through the corridor. Kim Yoo-jung entered, calm, collected. Eyes red from tears. The air froze the instant she appeared. She stopped in front of him. Neither spoke for several seconds. She said, "You shouldn't have done that, Song Kang." He looked up, guilt and exhaustion written across his face. "You should have lied to me first." Her jaw tightened. "That's what this is about? You think I lied?" He stood, his voice trembling. "Promised me, after that scene, after that night, that we were going to face everything together. The rumors hit. You didn't say a word. Let me take the fall." Her voice rose. "You disappeared. I couldn't defend someone who wouldn't even face the press." He took a step closer, his tone breaking. "Disappeared because I couldn't breathe. Yoo-jung. Every headline. Photo, it felt like drowning. And you just smiled for the cameras. Like nothing happened." Kim Yoo-jung's expression wavered. "I smiled? You think I wasn't bleeding inside? Every time I stepped in front of that camera, I had to pretend the person I trusted most didn't abandon me. The room fell silent. Faint hum of studio lights buzzed overhead. Neither of them dared to look away. Then she said, softly but firmly, "You wanted someone to blame. And I was convenient, wasn't I?" Song Kang's lips parted. No sound came out. Her words hit harder than anything said on live television. She continued, her voice trembling now. "You could have called. You could have asked me why I stayed quiet. But instead, you turned me into your villain. And tonight." It again, in front of the entire country. Swelled in her eyes. But she refused to let them fall. "Protected you when no one else would, Song Kang. Even when the director wanted you off the project, I fought for you. And this is how you repay me." Bird, almost inaudibly, "I didn't know." "That's right," she replied bitterly. "Or wanted to." Outside, reporters had already gathered like vultures, shouting into microphones. Cameras flashing as staff tried to block the exits. The confrontation reached its breaking point. Kang dropped his gaze. "I thought you betrayed me," he said hoarsely. "And I thought you'd come back," she answered. "We were both wrong." For a moment, all they could hear was each other's breathing. Tension began to dissolve, replaced by the heavy weight of regret. Song Kang took a slow breath. "What do I do now?" Kim Yoo-jung looked at him, not as a co-star, not as an enemy, but as a broken person who had once been everything to her. "You learn," she said. "You face what you've done and stop letting pride destroy what's left." She turned and walked toward the exit. But before she reached the door, he stopped and said quietly, "Do you remember what I told you the first day on set?" He nodded weakly. "That acting isn't pretending, it's truth." She smiled faintly through her tears. "You are living that truth, for once." And with that, she was gone. The next morning, Korea woke up to a media storm. News outlet replayed the clip. Headlines screamed Song Kang's on-air meltdown and Kim Yoo-jung's tearful revelation shocks fans. Analysts debated who is in the wrong. Psychologists were invited on talk shows to discuss celebrity emotional breakdowns. Meanwhile, both actors disappeared from the public eye. For weeks, no one knew where Song Kang went. His agency said he was taking time to reflect. An anonymous staff member later leaked that he had checked into a private retreat outside Seoul, alone, without his phone. As for Kim Yoo-jung, she quietly continued her charity work. She was spotted volunteering at a children's hospital, smiling for the first time since that night. When asked by a reporter if she regretted the live confrontation, she simply said, "Regret? No. Some truths deserve to be spoken, even if they hurt." 3 months later, the entertainment industry was still divided, until one unexpected announcement appeared. Song Kang to hold a press conference. "I have something to say." The day of the press event, hundreds of reporters filled the hall. When Song Kang appeared, dressed in black, the air thickened with anticipation. He bowed deeply before speaking. "3 months ago, I said things I shouldn't have. My anger speaks louder than my reason. I hurt someone I deeply respect, someone who once saved my career without asking for anything in return." He paused, taking a shaky breath. "And Kim Yoo-jung because I couldn't face my own guilt. I was weak, and I was wrong." The entire room went silent. Cameras clicked. No one interrupted. "I want to apologize, not as an actor, but as a human being. To Yoo-jung. And to the viewers who saw me at my worst. Not proud of that moment. But maybe it was necessary. For the first time, I saw myself clearly." It's cracked. "I don't expect forgiveness. Only hope that the next time I stand before you, will be as someone worthy of respect." He bowed again, deeply, for a long time. That night, the public's perception began to shift. People started sharing clips of his apology, commenting, "This is what accountability looks like." Others noted how Kim Yoo-jung quietly liked a post that quoted his statement. Weeks later, rumors swirled that the two had met privately, not as stars, but as old friends seeking closure. No photos surfaced, no confirmation was given. A single anonymous post appeared online that read, "Small cafe in Samcheongdong. I saw two people sitting together in silence. They didn't speak much, but sometimes silence is enough." The comment ended with a single line that went viral across Korea. "This isn't loud. It's quiet and real." Months passed. Both actors slowly returned to the public eye, not together, but stronger. Kim Yoo-jung starred in a drama about healing and redemption. Song Kang appeared in an independent film about forgiveness. Critics praised both performances, calling them the most authentic of their careers. And when awards season arrived, something remarkable happened. As Kim Yoo-jung stepped onto the stage to present Best Actor, the winner's name was announced, Song Kang. Froze in disbelief as the audience erupted in applause. As he walked toward the podium, their eyes met for the first time since that night. She handed him the trophy. Their fingers brushed briefly, a moment so subtle, yet filled with everything left unsaid. Song Kang leaned toward the microphone and said, voice steady, sometimes we must break before we can tell the truth. Thank you, Yoo-jung, for helping me find mine. The crowd rose to their feet. For once, the nation didn't argue or divide. They simply watched, two people who had faced the worst of themselves, standing together again under the same light. Somewhere in that silence, beneath the applause and flashing cameras, the truth settled. It wasn't scandal that defined them, but how they rose from it. The world had witnessed a clash. Now, it witnessed grace. The lights faded and the cameras finally stopped rolling. The story that had set an entire nation ablaze began to find its quiet ending. It wasn't the silence of defeat, it was the silence of two souls who had survived the storm. In the weeks that followed, both Song Kang and Kim Yoo-jung withdrew from the spotlight. Media continued to speculate, dissecting every glance, every word, every possible meaning behind their confrontation. Yet, for the two of them, it was no longer about the noise outside, about rebuilding something within. Song Kang, in one of his rare interviews months later, spoke with an honesty that silenced even his harshest critics. That night, I lost control. I thought I was standing for truth, but I was really just hiding from my own pain. Yoo-jung, she didn't deserve what I said. That courage isn't about shouting your wounds, it's about taking responsibility for the ones you've caused. And when asked if they had spoken since, he smiled faintly. It wasn't a long conversation, but it was enough. Kim Yoo-jung, too, returned stronger. In her first comeback interview, she looked serene. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without anger. I think we both finally understood that. The nation, once divided in judgment, found itself moved instead. Their story became more than a scandal, it became a lesson in humility, truth, and healing. At the following year's Blue Dragon Awards, it placed them once more under the same roof. As the camera panned across the audience, the two exchanged a brief glance, calm, mature, full of mutual understanding. The world that once gasped at their clash now applauded their grace. And in that moment, something extraordinary happened. For the first time in a long time, the applause wasn't for fame or beauty, it was for growth. As the closing credits rolled that night, the nation remembered not the confrontation, but the redemption that followed. Thank you to everyone who stayed until the very end of this story, not just to witness the chaos, but to feel the humanity behind it. Because in every fall, there is a chance to rise. In every misunderstanding, a door to understanding. And in every broken connection, a chance, if we're brave enough, to forgive. This has been Hidden Korea, where truth, emotion, storytelling meet. Until next time, remember, real stories don't end in anger. They end in growth.